Alright everyone, it's time for a 15 plus 10. Just see what we get. Okay, I've got a 1533 rated opponent. I'm 1514 in rapid right now. And we have e4. Okay, so he's planning to fianchetto the queen's bishop. This is interesting. Okay. So bishop here is going to be looking at my pawn. I might as well defend the pawn. Think about getting this bishop out maybe to the Italian position. And d6 is my general idea. This is an unusual opening, I have to say. Okay, now he's got an attacker on here. It's defended once. If I bring out my bishop, I have time then to play d6. If I bring my bishop out to here, it actually pins this pawn, but then c3 is playable. I think this looks fine. If I do this, can he play d4? No, because I've got 3 attackers and only 2 defenders, so this is fine. Yeah, the plan is d6. Unleash this guy. This guy might come out and pin the knight. Okay, there goes the bishop, as predicted. And d6. So I'm trying to think up a kind of mnemonic, a demonic mnemonic, if you like, to do with animals and a way of kind of structuring the phases of your thought process when it's your turn. Okay, so I'm calling on the creativity of the hive mind here. So what I'm thinking is, if we can, I don't know if what makes sense, kind of four phases, right, when you're thinking about what move to make. The first one, and I'm thinking if we can name it after eagles, birds, animals. The first one, thinking eagle, right? And the point about eagle is you take a real bird's eye view, a 50,000 foot view, and say everything that's going on the board. That is, what has changed on the board, you know, what are all the pins, all the alignment issues, all that kind of stuff, okay? Where are the strengths and the weaknesses? You look at the whole thing. And then the final one I'm thinking could be owl, where you say, okay, well, this is completely calmly, you know, this is what I think the best move at this point will be. Okay, apparently my opponent's disconnected, but we'll see. So let's just work through that thing. So what's just changed on the board? Well, he's put a pawn here. Why has he done that? Probably to prevent my bishop from coming out to g4 and pinning his knight. Makes perfect sense. Okay. What else has changed? Well, that pawn is no longer defending this square, which means that this square is now defended only once. Okay. Doesn't mean anything, it's just a fact. Just stating the facts. Now, then what do you do? Then we should be looking at, you know, the strengths and weaknesses and trying to decide what's critical, okay, on the board. So maybe they're an animal or a bird that has that particular property, but we should always consider our defense as well. So maybe there should be a turtle, you know, eagle, turtle, something, maybe. We shall see. So turtle phase, is my king safe? Yeah. My king is safe, right? He just hasn't developed enough to launch an attack. One thing I'm thinking now is pawn to f5 comes with some kind of edge to it. Thinking that what has changed about this is that my bishop no longer has that good square, right? And my bishop can't go there. And that leaves only these 2 squares for my bishop, and neither of those is that brilliant. I mean, yeah, d7 maybe in case he does this, but like, not sure. Do you know what I mean? So would f5 be silly at this point? If he takes, I get to develop my... Okay, he's abandoned the game, unfortunately. But, well, think about this. Was f5 a good move? Well, we've got lines on now at the end of this, so maybe it's going to come up with some suggestions. f5. Well, bugger me sideways. f5... Oh no, now it's saying a6 was also quite good. And now it's saying knight f6 was also good. But f5 was its first idea. So at a certain depth, f5 looked really good. And then it's saying, oh, no, you should develop your knight and also play a6, doing exactly what my opponent just did in reverse, de-encouraging his bishop from going to this square. Okay, so that's unfortunate that the game was aborted, but let's try and apply the same kind of thing. Okay, we have a 1393 now. This is a 511. Opponent is from Mozambique. Mozambique is not a flag that I recognise. Not a lot of chess players in Mozambique. Probably only about like 2 million of them. Alright, so we have e4, e5 again. We've got the black pieces again. Knight out here, I play this. Don't have to think about these moves. And I know what I do against the Scotch, against the Ponzi, against the two knights, against the Italian, against the Spanish. Two knights, Winawer defense. This is actually slightly not preferable. So here, now d5 is playable, and then I do get this lovely strong centre, right? The knight is still here, so queen h5 check is not on. This pawn is under attack and it is defended. Therefore, what I should be doing, so principles, what I should be doing is grabbing the centre and developing my pieces. Now, there ain't nothing wrong with knight f6 here. Because the thing is, he can't actually prevent me from playing d5 on the next turn. I don't think. So I'm going to play knight f6. We'll see how that pans out. The nice thing about d5 is that it not only controls the centre, but we have a discovery against this pawn, so we get back our pawn, thank you very much. Okay, white plays d3. Disadvantage of d3 is it shuts in this bishop. Advantage of d3 is it opens up this one. So, swings and roundabouts. So I'm thinking, is there any reason not to play d5? Now somebody commented this the other day. It might have been Jules. One of my, I get free chess coaching by virtue of putting out YouTube videos. So Jules and Jose are very dedicated at giving me tips on stuff that I missed, which is fantastic. So one of the things I think it was that Jules said is, if you get the opportunity to push a central pawn 2 squares, why not do it? That was in a Vienna, I do recall. Now the obvious move here is this, but first of all let's state the facts. Out has come yon bishop. Bishop is attacking the knight. What's more, bishop is pinning the knight, which means this knight cannot move. Otherwise I lose my queen, and we doesn't want that, does we? Okay, so, but do I need to move my queen just yet? Not really. If he takes my knight, am I bothered? Not really. I can take back with pawn. So I'm going to go ahead and take on f5, and now we've won our bishop back, and look at this, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 pieces in this central thing. Okay, opponent has 1, 2, 3 in the central 16. I don't know if that's necessarily a good thing, but we shall see. Okay, now opponent has played bishop out here. See, because he played d3, it kind of hampered his bishop a bit. So he's put his bishop on the only square he could in order to enable him to castle. One instinct here is to push h6. Is there an evil animal? Is there an animal that thinks about attacking? You know, what are our attacking ideas here? I mean, h6 puts pressure on my opponent. It's saying, come on, what are you going to do with that bishop, right? Are you going to take my knight? Well, if he takes my knight and I recapture with g, I'm a happy camper. So that is definitely a move. But queen d6 as well, I kind of like. Queen d6 means that this pawn is defended a second time. Means this pawn continues to be defended twice, and it allows me to castle. So now then the question is, then you have to be a nervous animal. So you come up with ideas, and then you have to be nervous and say, well, if I do this, what can my opponent do? Well, what about that? And that hits the queen and c7. And there ain't nothing else guarding c7, which is annoying. So perhaps something like this even. But the issue with that is it actually drops this pawn. So you've got to be nervous as well. You've got to be a little timid little mouse, haven't you? Now I could push a6 here, and that I think is better than lifting the queen. Now we go into owl mode, right, where I have to say, okay, in the cold light of day, based on pure logic, what is best? Let's try and resolve the pin on the knight. Let's kick the bish, or at least put the question to the bish. Does he want to retreat here? In which case I'm tempted to play g5 and double kick him back to here, in which case he'll have two attackers on this pawn, only currently one defender, but then bishop here might be an idea. I don't know. Okay, so situation is knight is still pinned. If I do this, it's just going to push the bishop back to force him there, in which case I've got an issue to solve here. And is that a way to solve it? I don't know. Everything is just saying no. One thought is this: you create a pin of my own on this knight. This knight is a bit of a pain because it's attacking that is currently defended by queen and knight, but the knight is pinned. So it's effectively, materially, it's defended only by queen. So I kind of approve of this move. But then again, you know, when we're thinking mousy mouse, right? He castles and the pin is gone. And do I want to capture there? B takes, and then suddenly he's got a semi-open file pointing down to towards where my king wants to be. I don't know. So maybe that isn't the best idea. So what is the best idea? I can't go here because he can literally just take that, because my queen is still in line with the evil bishop. Let's revisit this idea. G5, bishop G3. Then I could do this. I could just do that anyway. Just do that anyway. Now I can't do it immediately because of the pin. Okay, that's it. So first we have to break the pin, and then I can even do this. And if he wants to come and attack it, fair goes. You know, he can do. I'm defending the bishop. I can still move my queen to d7. Okay, he does this. So now I think this is on, because now my knight is no longer pinned. Okay. Now I can develop to here, which I like. Now my queen has options, and happy days. So opponent has castled. This bishop cannot move. Can't go there or there. So my instinct is telling me queen d7, line it up with this guy with attacking possibilities later on. Let's count attackers and defenders. 2 attackers, 2 defenders on that. 1 attacker, 1 defender. I think it's just time to get castled. I'm going to get my queen on the 7th rank. I'm going to castle long, and then I'm going to start throwing pawns at my opponent's head and see what we can do. Opponent is rushing his moves, by the way. And I'm taking a long time because I'm talking to you, but opponent is still on 15 minutes, so has taken on average less than 10 seconds per move. On average, ever so slightly more than 10 seconds per move. All right, rook e1, I'm just going to castle straight away, but first I'm going to check because I need to be a mouse. Okay, now if I castle now, he's got 1, 2 attackers on this pawn. It's still defended twice. That's okay, right? That doesn't mean that's what I should do. Is there an attacking opportunity that is convincing? Like hit the knight. Knight can't go there. Can't go there. Can't go there. Knight will have to retreat. I'm kind of drawn to that move. If he takes, yeah. It does get in the way of my bishop and queen. And I still have that option on the next turn. Knight defends this. Okay, so he's withdrawn his bishop. The purpose of this, I believe, is to add a 3rd attacker to that. Now, Rook d to e8 kind of resolves that situation. If I do that idea now and push g4, I think he, with his 3 attackers and only 2 defenders, he could just respond to that by taking the pawn. If I take back, takes back, blah, 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 don't work. Right, there we go. Rook d e8. And now this doesn't work, because now there is an equal number of attackers and defenders, which means if he takes, that is trade number 1. And he's basically traded a knight for a bishop. Okay, this is interesting. So what he's doing here is he's attempting to remove one of the defenders of the pawn, but if he does that, I can recapture with my pawn. Yes, it puts my king now on a semi-open file, but now let's calculate this. I attack his knight. He takes, let's say I take with the bishop. I think we're okay. This is too slow now. Well, actually, if he takes, it comes with check. So, oh, he's moved his knight out the way. He's moved his knight out the way and he's attacking my bishop. And I didn't even look at that square. It's not the most fortuitous square for a knight to be on. Do I want to allow him to take my bishop? Is his knight a good knight or a bad knight? Well, right now it's crap. It's what is known as crap knight syndrome. Okay, bishop back here or bishop here. This is my thinking. Okay, we've got 2 attackers on this pawn here. We've got 3 defenders. Happy days. He's still attacking this bishop, but then I have queen takes, which is not a major problem. He's attacking my bishop. Again, I have queen takes. But then if he takes there, it's got to be pawn. So I'm inclined to save this bishop. And I'm inclined to put it, I think, here. That blocks my rook's defense. Okay, let's try this then. That has the advantage of eliminating both of these squares from this knight. Okay, so he's taken. Take with pawn or take with queen? I don't think take with pawn is too bad. I've got to recapture, I'm in check and he's forking my rook. Whichever I do, whichever capture also becomes a 3rd defender of that pawn, so I'm not too worried. But if I capture with my queen, my pawn is pinned, and then he has this. So I'm going to take back with the pawn. I think my king is alright going to b8, if he needs to. But right now, look at where all my opponent's stuff is. He's all in this corner. Whereas I have central stuff, and it just feels a bit better. Just a feeling, that's all. Okay, defended, not attacked, happy days. Attacked twice, defended once, twice, 3 times a lady, happy days. Advanced pawn, I like this. I also have maybe knight h5, hitting the bishop that can't retreat. What's the bishop going to do? Is it going to allow itself to be captured and then a pawn has to take, or is it going to? It's not going to trade itself off for a pawn. So I think this move is an idea. King could even run all the way over there. Okay, I'm going to do this move now. Yes, I am. It's an important defensive piece. If I can mess up his pawns around his king, I'm happy camper. I'm not too concerned about these pawns because there's nothing looking at it. Ain't nothing coming my way. Okay, queen is looking at this undefended pawn. But if I take this, I'm attacking that as well. So I've got time, for example, to move my bishop out of the way, and my rook then defends the pawn. What we call the discovered defense. Okay, he's recaptured with the f pawn. I'm not sure about that. On principle. The reason is he hasn't got a rook on f1. And I just feel like he's opening himself up to things. Knight here is a thought. Allowing the queen to take here. Because then I can grab here and fork both rooks. I like that idea. Gives the queen a check, doesn't matter, I just move out of the way. Okay, I didn't have to get a shift on now. Still the knight is trapped. Knight literally can't move anywhere. If the queen takes this pawn, I also have discovery ideas. So I could even, for example, take this pawn with a discovery by this rook here on the queen. Yeah? So the queen right now has to guard this pawn to avoid losing material. Okay, there she goes. Now it feels like it's time to attack. Maybe I should put my king on b8 just to be sure. He's not got a dark squared bishop anymore. So this is fine. Knight's trapped. Bishop's blooming trapped. Rubbish, crap, shite. See, all these pieces are glued to the edge of the board as well. Okay. Question is, how do we attack? I have a light squared bishop. It's currently not the best piece. I have rooks. The key thing, I have a lovely open file. Is it this? Both his rook and his bishop are defending this square. I'd love to stick my knight, but that's not going to happen. How do I force my way through here? I feel like it's got to be the F file. Okay, 5.5 minutes. Let's go. I could even trade the knight off. The knight's actually in the way of my only decent pawn break, which is h5, h4. Trading knight off would actually be a good idea. Yes, it's a bad knight, but it's actually doing a job. It's doing a job of gumming up this area around his king, which I want to attack. So there we go. Let's do it. If takes, I'm taking back with the bishop. I believe. Oh no, bishop or. When I've got rook, I've got queen. Queen takes, I've got a check here which forces his king into the corner. Queen takes, okay. I'm not after this pawn. This is not my concern. Right? This is my thought. Get rid of this pawn, then it frees up this pawn, and hopefully we'll have a progressive collapse of stuff. Right? That is not anything to be worried about. I can't see any concern there. Okay, so off goes Harry now. Okay, what he's doing is defending that square. Okay, I should have figured that out before I moved, but it's still not really an issue. I wasn't going to dive in there anyway. It's too early. That is just a move for a move's sake. I can't see any purpose to it. I don't have this because bishop defends. Okay, let's carry on with our Harry attack. I might want to reroute this bishop at some point. If he takes here, all good. I think the bishop is probably going to come around this way. I think probably. I feel like my opponent has made moves that are far too neutral in the last few turns. We need to be making moves that put pressure on our opponent in some way. And he just hasn't done that. Okay, if I take and he pushes, okay, he's got this idea. That's not too bad. Oh, can I just take here now though? Okay, it's only a pawn. If I push, I think pushing, push. This pawn can't move, that's the point. Push, and if he takes, I can take, yeah, I think so. He might do this, and might try and trade his way out of trouble. Maybe I should have taken the pawn first of all, but I don't know. If he takes, I also have queen here, with the threat of bishop takes on there. See, if he takes, he undefends this square. I can put my queen on that square. I'd like to move my bishop so that my rook has a good view all the way down the h file as well. But this is the point where we have to dial up the evil. Yes, always take account of defense. Okay, takes. Right, I can take back. I can always line up bishop and rook and queen maybe against that. For example, if he does this, I'll just drop my queen back maybe. But, okay, let's look at the pawns. Let's do a pawn review. He has a arguably preferable pawn structure. I have this advantage in the centre, but I do have 3 pawn islands. One of them's only this singleton here. Bishop takes isn't an option because I take back with the queen. I might just drop my queen back here, stick my bishop here. No, it's still not an attack though, is it? Queen here, bishop takes. Now that is interesting. Okay, already planned for this one. I'll pre-move the recapture if he wants to try and trade out. Done. 5.5 minutes. And all this he's playing pretty well actually. At this point, he's played like more tortoise formation than snake formation. Not really shown any signs of wanting to attack. Okay. If I take, pawn takes, this is all right. Or I push and open up light squared ideas. Let's just push. I don't want this pawn to be able to back up this pawn, right? So now he's lost one of his defenders of this guy. So now he's only got these 3. And if this guy comes forward, don't know. Sun's come out. Currently everything's defended on this side of the board. How do I muscle my way through here? Feel like this pawn is somehow a key. I do have a bishop looking at it right now. I can add a rook. I can potentially add a queen. Or queen back here still. Still liking this square. Means he's got to defend that against my pawn. We have equal material. That actually undefends this pawn. Queen's the only defender of that. Technically, the rook's not defended. I'm just going to push this. See if he wants to take. If not, let's say he pushes on, I get to push on. And I know that I'm opening stuff up. See, this now would be quite good. But also that, I've got 2 attackers on it. Now, it really was I appreciate a snap judgment. Pawn to here takes squares away from his queen. Pawn to there maybe could be quite threatening. Okay. I think bishop takes, so we don't drop this pawn. But I also have pawn takes, but pawn takes... Having said that, the queen's now looking at this pawn, isn't it? Queen takes, bishop takes. This forces a trade of queens, and then I get this really nice pair of advanced pawns. My rook can anchor itself on d8, and I believe my king and these two, Andy and Barry, can handle these guys. I might want to eliminate that square from the rook. Wow. So now the whole kind of playing field has changed. Now my attack is all about my central pawn majority. Didn't expect it, but I'll take it. Okay, push on. Now I want to be putting my important things on dark squares, as does my opponent, because we've both got a light square bishop. And so my rook is going to come to d8. My bishop's got a nice view of the board, actually, from down here. Also, notice his king can't get into the board because of my rook on the open file. Rook d8. Now his king can get into the board. But this, right now, would be very unpleasant for opponent. That is defended by bishop and rook. Could also push my king up. So here I'm just relying on, I'm a pawn down, but I'm relying on a little bit more endgame experience. I mean, that said, my opponent is 1393. You know, he's no dummy. No push. My clock's now building. My opponent's is dropping down. So I'm now on 6 minutes. He's just under 9. Right, this is undefended. So I have two options. I can defend with the rook, or I can push. If I push, he's got king here. Can I push this one? Hang on. I push that one. I'm threatening to queen and force him to give up his rook. I push, he goes king here. No, it doesn't work. I don't really want to put my rook on a light square, but I can then move it here. This pawn is defended. Okay, I'm going to do this, I think. This is defended. That is very threatening. I'm threatening basically to win his rook, which would be devastating. This attacks the bishop. It's a very one-dimensional move, though. Okay, interesting. Now this bishop here, this, he puts his bishop there, maybe. Or this one then, this one. I think he now has to move his king down, but do I get to give check? Yeah, he can't. So now with, hang on. Is it D2 now? I think it's D2. D2, and he's going to have to... No, he's not. D2, and he takes that. Ugh. Here. No, we trade rooks. That's no good. If I do this, we trade off bishops. I think I'm good. His bishop can't come here because I've got a6. Oh, there attacks my rook as well, by the way. So I just have to lift if he does that. Hang on, so this queen takes, doesn't work. Now I think that these pawns can force their way through. From what little I know about endgames. But now, rook f8, rook f1, check, loses the rook. Okay, rook f1 is now not check. He can't take there because I queen and get the final rook. He can't take me because I get a queen outright. So I go here. What's he got? He sits tight. He pushes a pawn. No, he doesn't. Okay. He can't do nothing because he's going to lose a rook. If he moves his rook off the back rank, I get a queen and win. Oh, was that a clever move? There, takes, check, takes. Wow. Okay, I'm going to defend my pawn. I'm going to engage my king. That was a very clever one. That was a very clever one. Okay, can't move the H pawn because I take this. Okay, engage king. If he doesn't take, I'm going to take one of these. So he's got to take. All right. This is also a good move because he's now. But my rook can. Hang on, 1, 2, 3 squares away from protecting my own pawn. Go here, takes. God, he's doing all right, isn't he, this fella? Here. If he pushes forwards, I can drop down. That undefends that pawn. There, he can't take. If I take, king takes. I can't see. I think he's got me, actually. I know I get this pawn, but he can now get both of these, can't he? I feel like there's a really good lesson in this somewhere. I'm really starting to enjoy my end games, and that's a key to any area of chess. Because we've been studying it now for 4 weeks solid on the foundation group in Chess Bootcamp Live. We've been looking at pawn breakthroughs and king pawn endings and stuff like that, and done lots and lots of puzzles. I feel like I'm getting better, so I'm actually now starting to relish the idea of of end games, where I haven't before. But these two are kind of deadly. He's got pawns on both sides of the board. Now that's not a massive problem. If I can get my rook here, okay, I have to take this. I have to eliminate these pawns. But he's got 2-on-1. This really should be winning. I think though that drops a pawn. I think he snatched at that one, 4 seconds. And it's just evened everything up. Alright, now we may be forced to consider forcing a draw at this point in time, but I don't have to go there just yet. Okay, he's going to try and shepherd this down with his king. I'm kind of 2 moves behind. What do I do? Do I push my pawn, or do I think about this guy? Should my rook be in front or behind this pawn? That's another good question. If I go here, he goes like here. What he wants to do is he wants to put his rook on this file, blocking my rook and forcing me to trade it off so that his pawn goes that way. So I think I kind of have to attack from the side, do I? If I go here... No, I think maybe I have to be in front, I don't know. Right, now if he takes, now I can stick my king to my pawn. Now, we are in a situation where we have a king and a pawn, and it's a knight's pawn, and I do not know enough endgame theory to know how this one pans out. Okay. What I mustn't do is allow him to separate my king and my pawn. So I might have to bring my king around the back of this pawn. Five minutes. And this is why an increment is good. This forces you to win chess games. Okay. If I can, I'm going to play this. He could stalemate me if he puts his rook on the A file. Now he's got his king and his rook in contact with my pawn, and so I'm done for. Now he takes and he wins. Well done. That's what he had to do. Brilliant stuff. Right, we can resign this, and I'm looking at this. Well done indeed. I think that was extremely accurate for my opponent towards the end. Okay. Ooh. Oh, I've made 10 blunders. 10. And 2 missed wins. Ouch. Let's look at best move difference towards the end, because oh, that middle game was horrible. And then I made these 2 blunders here, right? Okay, blunder number 1 in the ending was king to... I had to go infield. Infield was forcing a draw. Infield was forcing a draw. Then he does this, and I do that. I had to and push the pawn. I could have done it. Well, I know what we're studying next time on Chess Bootcamp Live Foundation Group. King and rook against king and pawn. That's what we've got to do. Because honestly, I should have, with more endgame knowledge, I should have been able to save that. But that is an absolutely ghastly performance. And quite honestly, I don't have the... I mean, 28 best moves. It's not bad, 66, 67 accuracy. It's not a bad game, but 10 blunders. And, I had some really winning advantages at some points, like here. Right, when he did this, I should have captured on here instead of pushing. Right, this was just about my best position actually in the game, and it's -6. So yeah, let's figure this out. Takes whatever he does, like queen e3 is his best move. Takes. If he'd captured here, I've got queen h5. Yeah, move this out of the way. Yeah, serious just lack of evil on that one. But okay, I know what my next thing is to study. The beauty of this game and the gift that this game has given me is to know that from the review here, I had 2 opportunities at least. I mean, it says this is dead, draw all the way, and then I blundered. Okay, that is a blunder. If I'd have gone in towards the centre of the board, I could have saved the draw and should have saved the draw. But now that's what we're going to study. All right, good stuff. So after this, I'm going to get stronger. Rawr. Thanks for watching, everyone. See you later.